If it's Monday night, oh yes, it is ridiculously raw. And unfortunately, we do have to start on a sad note. We're going to be dedicating this edition of Ridiculously Raw to the memory of Jan Ross. Jan Ross, of course, the wife of good old JR Jim Ross, who tragically lost her life late last week. And, Michael Bullock notified me of that situation last week. So we're going to dedicate this show tonight to her memory. So, Jan Ross, this one's for you. And it's also for you too, JR. So, with that being said, this is it, guys. WrestleMania week on the Wrestling Forum family and networks. And we started off here tonight with Ridiculously Raw. And what can I say except not just on this show, but today in general, the dirt sheets. The dirt sheets reign supreme. The dirt sheets came out with so much news and information today. I mean, this wasn't just a newsworthy show. This was a newsworthy day all around. I mean, news about some things that are going to happen at WrestleMania. Heck, we got to see early videos and photos of the setup for WrestleMania, what the set's going to look like. And all I can say is, whoa, I've seen them. I saw them before MF even posted them. I had a little downtime on my job, and I noticed it. They're going all out for this setup. This could be maybe the greatest setup of all time. And we cannot wait to see what the finished product is going to look like on Sunday night. It's going to be unreal. So, with that being said, let's get down to business here. The final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania, and we were live from one of the most notorious IWC hotspots there is, the Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or as MF likes to call it, the Illadelph. And oh boy, the Illadelph was on fire tonight. This may not have been the greatest go-home show, I'll admit, but we got a lot of newsworthy stuff out of this. And one of the newsworthy items that came out of this show really rubbed us the wrong way. And we're going to get into that. Believe that. It will be addressed. Yes, there will be some cutouts, unfortunately. But we're going to start with one of the positives of this show tonight. We kick things off with the women. The women started this show tonight. We had the Raw Women's Champion, Bayley. She started it off, cut a promo. She was then interrupted by Charlotte, and then Sasha Banks, and then Nia Jax. We knew we were going to get a tag team match on this show tonight. But and when Bayley came out, we thought we were going to get the fight right away. But it turned out that they wanted to get a promo segment in there, and they did that. And then and then we got the match right after, 2-for-1 deal. You know how we are about those. The winners of the match in 11 minutes, Bayley and Sasha Banks. She hit the Bayley to belly on Charlotte for the 1-2-3, and then Nia Jax took out all three ladies and held up the belt in mid-ring before dropping it and walking out. So, okay. So, as far as the verbal exchange goes, they did a good job of selling the question of whether Sasha has been conspiring against Bayley. They took such a strange path to this four-way match, but that mystery combined with one of our first newsworthy items of this show tonight. And I'll tell you right now, this is not the one we're going to be, this is not the one we're going to be whining about. This is one we're actually going to be okay with. They announced today that at WrestleMania, we already knew we were getting the four-way. We thought it was going to be a one fall sudden death four-way. No, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a fatal four-way elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship. Love it. The mystery combined with the new elimination stipulation. My excitement level for this bout actually has gone up. Why not? Now, as far as the match is concerned, I got to say second best fight on the show here. I'll probably give this about maybe a solid 3 stars for the effort. This was a nice 30-minute showcase of the Raw women heading into their title match. They didn't really play into the mystery of where Sasha stands during the actual match, but they did a good job of making Nia Jax look like the monster badass heel chick that she is afterward. So yeah, I mean, they accomplished a lot. The first 30 minutes, all about the ladies, and I'll tell you what, well done, all four of you. You delivered. Solid verbal exchange, and then follow it up with an equally solid bout. And now you're going to have an elimination match, a fatal four-way elimination match. They must have listened to us. They must have watched our show from last week, and they're like, you want to be critical of our women? Okay. We'll find a way to whet your appetite. Let's make it a fatal four-way elimination match at WrestleMania. And let's give them 30 minutes of time, not just on the mic, but also in a match. You did it. You wanted to whet our appetite? You did it. Well done. That's exactly what you needed to do. Great booking all around. So one of the highlights of this show, the women. And this is definitely going on my list on my recommendation list when we do our overall review. Very good stuff. Well done. All right, SmackDown Live, let's see how your ladies answer that challenge. We don't even know what your match is going to be. Hopefully, it's something that can be just as good, if not better. I'm rooting for it, but we'll see. So the segment, I don't know how to rank the segment. Probably maybe second or third, probably third best, I would say, or even fourth, because we had a lot of in-ring segments. And the match was definitely the second best on the show. One match was better. Solid 3 stars. Well done all around. Kudos, WWE. Kudos. And Meth, how about what do you make of all of this?
What I make about it is it goes like this. They did what they needed to do. They had to, first off, they needed to find a way of incorporating Nia Jax to the match. Because for the longest time, it was always Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha. And when they added Nia, we were like, okay, how are you going to do this? How can you get to the ultimate climax? What do? Make it an elimination fight, a fatal four-way elimination bout for the women's title at WrestleMania. This is where this will serve everybody perfectly. There's the rumor about the Sasha heel turn. You can make that happen now. You can have now her not worried about the belt, and now you can say she could turn on Bayley at WrestleMania, and there's going to be no ill will because it's elimination now. Anything goes. Everything that goes down now from here on in is all basically peaches and cream, as they would say. So I love the fact that they incorporated the elimination aspect. Going to happen. It's just, and I love that they finally showcased them, because for a little while they were being lost in the mix. It was always about, Stephanie has this axe to grind with Bayley because she's friends with Foley and close with Foley and a lot of people, and she just wants to make her life a you-know-what. Now, it's no longer about Stephanie McMahon. It's about the title and 4 women that deserve the spot that they're in. Because let's be realistic. Sasha, Charlotte, they made history 1 year ago at WrestleMania 32 in AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Bayley, who made her debut earlier, towards the summer, and Nia, who was a draftee of Monday Night Raw, a shocking draftee pick of Monday Night Raw from NXT, they are now on what is the biggest collision course of their life. For Nia, for Sasha, for Charlotte, and for Bayley, this is the ultimate dream. Bayley was saying how she was part of WrestleMania just watching it on the WWE Network, paying to watch the event, and now for the first time in her young career, she's gonna be a part of WrestleMania. She's gonna be inside that stadium, that Camping World Stadium, Sunday night. Now, we don't know if it's going to be in broad daylight. We don't know if it's going to be in the twilight, or if they're going to be under the lights in the dark at night of WrestleMania. We don't know yet. We don't know what the card's going to look like. But this is a moment for the women. And, we talked about the Diva Revolution a year ago. And now it's the women's revolution. And edit. What is SmackDown Live going to throw at WrestleMania? I think we're going to get our answer tomorrow night. Everything will be settled tomorrow. Because after nothing's stopping it. All roads leads to the I-90 down to Orlando, because that's where WrestleMania is going to be. You take I-95 on the East Coast and you drive that baby all the way down and then merge to the I-90 to get off on, I think it's where they'll stay in the Orlando vicinity. Now, for all you people who are coming from around the world to WrestleMania, there's a very good informational video that I recommend you guys watching on YouTube.com. I'm not gonna, I don't know the gentleman's name, but he gave us a point-by-point of how to get to the Amway, what street to take and everything else, and the street that you want to take to get to Camping World Stadium at WrestleMania. So let me tell you, folks, there's nothing bigger than this. Great segment, great lead-in, great build. Sunday night, we're going to get the payoff. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Did you give a rating for the match, Fletch?
Well, I'll go with Florio. I think he said 2 stars, something like that. Two and a half stars.
He said 3 stars.
Nope, 2.5 for me.
All right. I just wanted to let you know of his rating. So, yeah. I mean, I thought this was a good opening segment to start off Raw. I mean, it's something to have the women lead off this edition of Raw, and Bayley talking about getting to be at WrestleMania and how she's going to overcome the odds, and then Charlotte comes and cuts her heel promo. And then out comes Sasha Banks, and basically Charlotte's trying to drive a wedge between Bayley and Sasha Banks, and then Nia Jax shows up, and then mayhem starts, and that's when we get our tag team match. So, and as far as the match goes, I'm gonna give it about I'm gonna go between 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating on the match. I mean, it was a good match, a good tone setter for the night, and yeah, and I agree. I mean, I'm glad now that they made this Fatal 4-Way match a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. Having the traditional Fatal 4-Way match one fall, yeah, I mean that's the one I'm not a fan of, but having it to be an elimination match, yeah, now we can get a good amount of time out of this match. Hopefully 30 minutes. But we'll just wait and see come Sunday night. So 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating. Florio, let's move on.
Okay. They announced that they had a backstage segment. One of my personal favorite young ladies in the WWE, and I do mean personal favorites, Charlie Caruso, my lord, had a backstage, doing a backstage interview with Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn talking about, Mick Foley getting fired as general manager. He said that he was going to enter the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and he said he was going to dedicate his performance in the match to Mick Foley. Enter Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, and she informed Zayn, no, you're not in the match. If you want to be in the match, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to go one-on-one with your former best friend, Kevin Owens, in a no disqualification match. And if you lose, Sami Zayn, not only are you not in the Andre Battle Royal, but you will end up like Mick Foley, fired. Whoa, okay. We'll address that match a little bit later on. And then it was Cruiserweight time, the first of 2 Cruiserweight matches, the number 1 contender. Well, I'll tell you right now, 2 Cruiserweight matches, both champion and challenger in action tonight. And we start with the challenger, the number 1 contender, A-Double, greatest man who ever lived, Austin Aries. He went one-on-one with the Scottish supernova, Noam Dar. Austin Aries wins the bout in 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Now, before we get into this match, WWE announced, and here comes another newsworthy item, and I'm gonna let you fine folks out there know right now. This is the one that drew the ear of us, and not in a good way. I found out about it watching the show with Bullock as part of our Raw chat. Bullock already knew about it because MF posted it on his Facebook page earlier on. This is a classic case of WTF right here. Good news is, yes, we're still going to get Neville and Aries for the Cruiserweight Championship as part of WrestleMania. And I'm afraid I have some bad... If you thought this was going to be on the main card, folks, like we all thought it was going to be, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. This is not going to be on the main card. This epic match relegated to the kickoff show. Really? Really? MF, you're the one who broke it. I mean, well, first give us your thoughts on Aries and Dar, and then I'm going to let you have at it as far as this Dinkelberg decision by WWE goes. I mean, horrible.
Well, at first, I was going to go absolutely ballistic on this and rip WWE a new and say, this was a horrible decision, that this was absolute craziness, whatever. However, I think what WWE did might be actually better for us. And I'm gonna give you the reason why, and I hope I'm correct about this move. Because if I am, not only are we gonna win, the WWE Universe is gonna win, and the IWC is gonna win. Because my feeling is, well, first off, what Austin Aries did tonight with Noam Dar, good match, solid fight. I liked it. I thought it was a really good matchup. It's great that they showcased Austin Aries going into the big title fight Sunday. Now, the reason why I initially flipped was I was like, oh no, they just bumped this off the main card of WrestleMania and did show stealer of the night. Everybody's predicting that this was going to be a show stealer. Everybody was predicting that this was going to be maybe the fight of the night of WrestleMania, and a lot of people were believing this was going to be the best match of the WrestleMania fight card. And why did it bump it off? What was the reasoning behind it? Here's the reason why, and this might be the saving grace. Remember, there's 2 fights that have been thrown the pre-show. Not only is that one, but the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Okay, fine. The Battle Royale is one that some people may care about, others not so much. However, USA announced for WrestleMania that they are going to do full kickoff thing for them at 6 p.m. My thinking, and this is just my thinking, and I hope I'm right, that they actually put Aries versus Neville at the 6 o'clock hour on USA, because a championship fight on free TV, you don't have to pay $9.99 or $60 for a free match at WrestleMania. And I think this would be my logic, is to let these two men have as much time as they want, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. Because if these two go on USA during that 3-hour period, it would be the absolute best decision for WWE, because you put the cruiserweights on a great time slot. 2, it's free TV. That means you actually would give the WWE Universe possibly the best fight of WrestleMania, and we don't have to pay for it. We don't have to worry about it. You give us this bone, you're going to make us very happy. So, yes, initially when I heard this, I flipped out. And I know a lot of people also flipped because of the fact we're like, what have you done? You just took the best fight away from us at WrestleMania. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, maybe WWE is on to something. Give us the best match for free TV, and we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the way. Just my thought. Michael Bullock, I know you say you were really upset, and I know you say you were going to go off. With the news that I just thought, or my theory, would that be enough to talk you off the ledge?
I think you just did, because I was just scrolling through my program guide, and I just saw the same thing you just mentioned, that the first hour of the WrestleMania kickoff show is going to be on the USA Network. So, yeah, I mean, if that's the reason why they took it off the main card and put it on the kickoff show for the first hour, then I can definitely understand it. And we hope that you're right, because if that's not on the first hour, then and only then we'll go off on this. So we'll just have to wait and see. So, yeah, so if you put the Cruiserweight title match on the first hour, and then the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in the second hour, that certainly makes a whole lot of sense. But we'll just wait and see. So, yeah, so as far as the match goes, well, what did you give it, Fletch?
I gave it about 2.5 stars.
I'll go somewhere. I'll go somewhere between 2 to 2.5. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, to keep Austin Aries looking good for his match against Neville, and I thought Noam Dar looked good in defeat. So, 2 to 2.5 stars. So, Florio, it's yours.
Well, when MF puts it that way, you know what? That actually sits well with me too. I'm actually okay with that. If that's the plan they're going with, why not? Anyways, I'm gonna give I'm right there with Bullock, 2 to 2.5 on that. Solid hype for Aries and Neville. It's cool that Aries waited until the go home show to introduce his last chancery finisher to the Raw audience. It's unfortunate that their stare down was interrupted by Michael Cole setting up his interview recap footage. It looked really lame to see the shot of Neville standing on the desk while Cole started reading his setup script. Are they really going to tape the ropes at Mania? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see on that. But perfectly fine match with clean work, and that's all there is to say on that. So, wow, to get all that on free TV, sign me up. That's all I can say. And and you can give this bout as much time as you want. So, you know what, MF, that's very very good stuff right there. Very insightful indeed. So so I'm going to give MF credit for that one. So that's all. Um, and we'll talk about the champion in just a little bit, because Adrian Neville was in action as well. So with all that being said, let's move on now. This was one of the big segments that was hyped in advance for this go home show tonight. Triple H. Triple H comes out in the suit, like he always does, and he wanted Seth Rollins to sign the hold harmless agreement / or as I call it, the letter of indemnification. And sure enough, the Kingslayer shows up, Seth Rollins. I love that shirt, by the way. I'm thinking about getting one for myself. So, Hunter explained that Rollins would be signing away the ability to sue him or the company. And Rollins says, okay, I'm aware of it, whatever. And he says, all right, Hunter, I'll sign it. So it is official. So it will be official. We do have ourselves a non-sanctioned match. Triple H and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But then Triple H beat the snot out of Rollins again. He beat him down with the crutch, just like we saw recently. So that's it. So it's on. WrestleMania. Non-sanctioned match. Triple H and Seth Rollins. And if it's anything like the last non-sanctioned match we had, MF, you know where I'm going with this. Because the last non-sanctioned match we had, boy howdy did you and I have a hell of a lot of fun with it back in the day. When Triple H and Shawn Michaels battled it out, SummerSlam 2002, the match that MF calls his greatest match in SummerSlam history. And I can certainly understand why. You can make an argument with that. You can also make the argument, I mean, when it comes to, hardcore stipulation and all that, absolutely. If we're talking straight up pure scientific wrestling, that's all about Bret Hart and the British Bulldog from 92. But that's a story for another day. But Triple H and Rollins, non-sanctioned match. We may have to call the Orlando PD on this one, boys, because these two just might steal the damn show. All right, Michael Bullock. Oh, boy, did we have some fun with this during our Raw chat tonight. So, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you here. What a segment here, huh? It's on.
Oh, yes, it's definitely on now. Seth Rollins, Triple H, non-sanctioned. I think these two are definitely going to steal the show. So, yeah, I mean, a great segment here. I mean, basically, Triple H was going over everything, telling Seth Rollins that whatever happens to him, he can't sue the WWE. He can't sue Triple H or Stephanie McMahon or anybody in the company. And he says, and Seth Rollins like, yes, I understand it. And then basically Triple H goes off and says, you know what, you were a nobody without me, and then you go and decide to be arrogant, and well, that's why I turned on you. That's why and you say you're the architect? Well, you're just a nobody. And Seth Rollins basically fired back and was basically like, you know what? I was a somebody before you came along. So Rollins signs the contract, and Triple H decides to push the table on that bad knee, and then he attacks him with the crutch. But Rollins fights back and gets a little bit of Triple H with the crutch. So definitely the fight is on here. So this was definitely a really good segment. So I don't know where to rank this. I mean, I think to me, I think this was the segment of the night as far as I'm concerned. So, Florio, it's yours.
One of the segments of the night, Michael.
One of the segments of the night. I think I stand corrected.
Yes, you do. Because remember what I said earlier. We had a lot of in-ring segments on this show tonight, and this was one of them. And this was another one of the highlights of this show, and one that I will definitely put in my recommendation listing, no doubt about it. Good segment that didn't overstay its welcome. Hunter explained the agreement aspect of it well, and Rollins did a nice job of explaining where his character is coming from. The pedigree teases were well done, and they were wise not to have either guy successfully execute the move on this show. No question about that. A really great segment with Triple H delivering once again, and together they set the dynamic well for their match. Rollins was also really good, and I liked the shift from revenge to redemption. Well done. So I got a great feeling this fight's going to possibly steal the show at WrestleMania. No question about it. Because like I said, if it's anything like the last non-sanctioned match that we saw, and one that MF and I, when that match went down, how many times did we, keep playing it over and over in our heads? Day after day after day after day after that bout went down. That's all I can say on that. So one of the segments of the night, it's really tough to rank it because even though it was awesome, I just don't know how to rank it. So with that being said, MF, let's bring you on in. Let's get your thoughts on it. Triple H and Seth Rollins. Rollins signs the hold harmless agreement. We got ourselves a non-sanctioned match with Rollins and Hunter at Mania. And you and I, my man, SummerSlam 2002. How much fun did we have when HBK and Triple H tore the house down in Nassau?
Absolutely. Uniondale, Long Island, New York. What a matchup that was. This is a big one. This is an amazing battle. This is going to be a big fight feel. Shame that it had to be this way. I think we all could agree. I think we all were hoping that it was going to be something bigger, something better, something more, grand. But, all the way back from when Triple H backstabs Seth Rollins, costing him the Universal Championship, literally handing the belt to Owens, we all knew it was going to be Rollins versus Triple H at WrestleMania, and we all were ready for it. We were all hoping for it. And then Rollins, partially blows the knee out again, and we all were like, oh my God, is this really happening? Is he out of WrestleMania again? And, this would have been the second consecutive year. He would have been on the shelf. And it was like we were trying so hard for this match to happen. And now it's happening, but it's happening under what I like to call false pretenses. I'm heartbroken that it's this way and that we're not going to get a full Seth Rollins at 100% going into WrestleMania. I think they said we're not going to get full contact. We're not going to see. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a match. It's not going to be a true Rollins Triple H war that we were hoping for. So expect a lot of overbook on this, which I'm sorry to say, but I believe it will happen. And expect this not to be a regular non-sanctioned fight. Like you said, when Shawn Michaels and Triple H went at it at SummerSlam, that was a whole bunch of epicness. Unfortunately, this time around, I don't think we're going to get that. But I am excited. This was a great segment. Everything came out so good, but there's really nothing more to say. So, gentlemen, let's just move on.
And now we have to move on to a cutout here. Even though something interesting came out of it, I'll be honest. We had an over-the-top rope challenge. Superstars are going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. It started off with the Big Show and Jinder Mahal and then you have Bo Dallas, the Shining Stars, R-Truth, Goldust, Curtis Axel. Show dominates the whole time, and then enter Braun Strowman. Strowman points to the Mania sign, and well, I have here an update. Roar! Yes, Bullock. That's our tradition, when Braun Strowman shows up. I have here an updated list of participants for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Before, and it's the first time in nearly 2 weeks that this thing is being updated. Because for the last 2 weeks, we only had 4 guys in this thing. Mojo Rawley, Apollo Crews, The Big Show, and Kurt Hawkins. Tonight, 9 more names added to the list, and they're all from Monday Night Raw, as well as The Big Show. So we have 13 guys in this thing. How about this? 10 guys from Raw and only 3 from SmackDown Live. I don't like SmackDown Live's chances. Oh, no. Monday Night Raw is going to win this sucker. Let me tell you. Braun Strowman is in. Goldust is in. R-Truth is in. The Shining Stars are in. Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, Jinder Mahal. And a new participant. And we're going to tell you who that is in a little bit. We're not going to give that away. But we had the over-the-top rope challenge. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I don't think anybody really won that. This is a no rating to a dud. Largely stupid. No set rules. No winner. Braun Strowman's short little promo was fine. And I think we already know who the final 2 are going to be. There's no question about it. It's going to come down to Braun Strowman and The Big Show. Let's not kid ourselves. So that's basically it. And then you had some more backstage stuff, and then it leads into our next fight of the evening, and we're going to get back into the fold here. It's our second cruiserweight match. We already saw the challenger in action. How about the champion, Adrian Neville, going one-on-one against the man that he successfully defended against at Fastlane earlier this month, the gentleman, Jack Gallagher. And just like at Fastlane, Adrian Neville wins the match 7 minutes and 40 seconds into that modified Rings of Saturn Regal stretch type submission hold. To me, this was the third best fight of the night. 2.5 stars. Not bad at all. I like both guys, but the second half was way better than the early portion of the bout. I love that Neville answered back with his submission after Aries used his submission earlier in the night. Could that be some foreshadowing, gentlemen? Maybe they could make it possibly a submission match, but I don't really see that happening. But then again, you never know. Oddly competitive match for the dominant champion heading into WrestleMania. So there you go. So this was my third best fight of the night on my end. Solid 2.5 stars. I like this match a little better than Aries' match against Noam Dar. Neville and Gallagher, you remember that they were one of the very few bright spots of Fastlane. We don't remember Fastlane god-awful show. But that was what Neville and Gallagher ended up damn near stealing the show, along with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. So that's all I can say on that. So, and like MF said earlier, free television, I could get with that. So, solid 2.5 stars, third best fight of the night. So, MF, let's give it to you now. Adrian Neville, Jack Gallagher. I know the Fastlane match was way better, but I thought this was still a solid match, despite the shorter time we had.
Yeah, solid fight. 2 stars is my rating for the match. And it's like you say, everything came out of it. It was pretty good, so really nothing bad to say about it. But I've already laid out my thought, what I think, I hope WWE does for Sunday night for WrestleMania. But we'll wait and see what happens there. But yeah, like you said, it was a good match. Nowhere near the awesomeness that we saw when they fought in Fastlane, end of the line. But no, this was good. So nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll agree. I mean, it was a 2 to 2.5 star match. I mean, I thought it was a good match. I mean, not as great as the match they had at Fastlane, but still, I mean, it was good for what it was. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's just move on, Florio.
Yeah, let's move on indeed. And now we have another amazing segment coming up here, and one that I know Michael Bullock's going to have quite a bit to say about it. Some of the reviews I'm reading actually did not like. Some of them did not like this segment, but I think we may have to beg to differ here. Roman Reigns, the big dog, the guy, he comes out. Oh boy, did he get crucified, man. You knew those Philly fans were gonna let him have it. You knew they were. Boo! Oh boy, were those boo birds out in full force. And then he cuts his usual thing, and he was it just me, or did he cut it like a heel promo tonight? That promo he cut sounded very heelish to me. He talked about winning the Royal Rumble match in Philadelphia 2 years ago. And then he said, "Hey, I've headlined. I've been in the main event of the last 2 WrestleManias. You remember 31 against Brock Lesnar, that surprisingly epic match that they had. We thought that thing was going to be garbage, but boy, did they surprise the hell out of us that night. And then, of course, last year, when he got his moment, he won the title, beat Triple H. We all know that story in Jerry World. He said, hey, I thought that was going to be the biggest moment of my career, but I'm wrong. I'm facing The Undertaker, and I'm going to do what nobody has done before him. I'm going to put the dead man down." And he says, with all due respect, it's my time now. This is my house because this is my yard. Gong. For whom the bell tolls, The Undertaker shows up. And for the first time in a long time, we get a graveyard promo, like Michael Bullock so eloquently pointed out to me during our Raw chat tonight. We went to the graveyard. And then moments later, the lights go out. They were out for quite a while. Let there be light, and there's The Undertaker. He looked at Roman in the eye, and he says, as I was saying, at WrestleMania, you will rest in peace. Gong. And Meth, it's all yours. What else is there? What is there to say about it?
No, there's really nothing there to say. This is what it's gonna be. Undertaker goes back, and one very interesting thing he said actually took the plot away from public, meaning all the other guys all have their own graves. I especially gave you this one, a special one. And it's so eerie and so unbelievable because of everything that is incorporated, everything that is looked, the feel is one of those that you just can't, you're just like, wow, unbelievable, really? So it's one of those things, man. It's one of those. You feel it, you sense it. It's Undertaker at his best. To see him there in Philly tonight was amazing. Everything was awesome, at least for the most part. Now, I understand why people are slamming it because, there's been a lot of talk that Taker is not at 100% going to WrestleMania, that he's definitely laboring going into this fight, and a lot of people are really worried about what from The Undertaker going into that fight on Sunday night. A lot of people are worried. At the end of the day, Taker did what he needed to do to hype this fight. You don't need me to tell you anything more about what this match is going to be like, what it senses, what the feel for the battle. There's nothing more to say. Just let it happen and let the chips fall where they may. All you need to know is that it is definitely Roman's biggest challenge yet, because if Roman is able to topple The Undertaker and win that fight, I know there's somebody who's going to be really upset, and I get it. There's going to be a lot of people booing in the IWC, and we have our very own person who's a phenom, who's still probably stinging over the fact of what happened at the Royal Rumble. And yes, I did go there because I want him fired up. I want him to be at the phenom level. So this Cerebral Viper just bit him and put that little venom in his veins, because I want him and all the creatures of the night to be at a fever pitch for Sunday night. Because I think Taker is going to need each and every one of you. Because I'm going to call it out right now. A prediction on Thursday night. I think the Roman Empire is going to bury the dead man 6 feet under at WrestleMania. Michael Bullock, I give it to you, my friend.
I think you just lit that inner phenom in me. I mean, yeah, I was trying to forget about that moment where The Undertaker got eliminated by Roman. Yeah, thanks for bringing it back up. Yeah, I mean, what a segment this was. I know some people didn't like it, but I certainly liked it. I know Fletch said he liked it, and Florio certainly likes it. And, I mean, Roman Reigns, I mean, he really did cut a heel promo. And boy, that crowd during that whole time was really booing the heck out of him. I mean, bringing up the time he won the Royal Rumble there, how he won the WWE World Heavyweight title there, and yeah, and saying that now there's only one thing that'll be bigger than that, and that's beating the dead man. And yes, and then the Undertaker shows up, and he's actually at a graveyard. And I mean, it's been a while since we had an Undertaker promo at a graveyard. I mean, the last time I can actually remember the Undertaker being at a graveyard for a promo, I mean, the only one I could think of was, of course, leading up to that WrestleMania 23 matchup between him and Batista. I mean, that's the only one I could think of. Yeah, and basically saying, "Oh, you're saying is one versus all, and at WrestleMania the Roman Empire is gonna fall, and I made a special graveyard for you, a special grave site for you." And then he shows up and he says, "Roman, at WrestleMania, you will rest in peace." And yeah, a lot of people are concerned because of his hip problems, and I even heard some dirt sheets saying that this could actually be the Undertaker's last match ever. So yeah, if Roman Reigns thinks he's gonna win this match, well, guess what? He's got another thing coming, because you know what? I think the dead man's gonna reign supreme. If this is gonna be his last match, this is not the way he's gonna go out, as a loser, because he's gonna bury the Roman Empire. The creatures of the night are gonna be behind him. I'm gonna be behind him, and Roman, your empire is gonna fall 6 feet under in that very grave. Believe that. Florio, it's yours.
I think MF got what he wanted. MF wanted to fire up the Phenom. He certainly did just that. I think we all know who you're going to be going with when we do our big show on Thursday night. I think we already know where you're going with that. So,
Oh, I already called it.
yeah, you're going with the man who's 23-1 in WrestleMania
Well,
history.
make that 24-1. Because if this is going to be his last WrestleMania, this is not the way he's going to go out a loser.
Fair enough. But we'll have more time to get into it on Thursday. Trust me, we will. But nonetheless, another one of the segments of the night. They did the physical part of the build last week, and the fans like and expect some supernatural shenanigans from Taker, and that fit the bill without going over the top. I also really like the tone of Roman's verbiage, hitting the edge harder than usual, and it came off very well. Like I said, that was a heel promo he cut tonight. So he sounded heelish in that promo he cut, no doubt about it. So everything was great. The graveyard setting was really good as well. I mean, the fight's going to be amazing. It's going to be one of the highlights of WrestleMania, no question about it. So definitely looking forward to that bout. And while I know Bullock's looking forward to everything on the Mania card, this is the match where I know he's going to have the most vested of interests right here. Just like a match on the other side of the coin that MF is going to have a major vested interest in. And we'll talk about that tomorrow night on his show, the Cerebral Smack Talk. But nonetheless, what we were supposed to have here, it was supposed to be a non-title tag team match, Gallows and Anderson against Enzo and Cass. Never really got off the ground. A fight, they basically brawl. I mean, nothing happened. Well, what really happened was, as Anderson and Gallows were coming down, they got attacked from behind by Sheamus and Cesaro with a ladder. And I ain't talking about Jacob's ladder either, folks. We're talking about an actual ladder. Whoa. Payback for when Gallows and Anderson laid out Cesaro and Sheamus in the back earlier in the show. But the ladder came into play. Well, simple question here. Will poor Anderson and Gallows have to act shocked when their tag title defense becomes a ladder match? I wouldn't be surprised if they make this thing a ladder match. They had a ladder, for goodness sakes. So why not? We'll see what happens, but we already know it's a triple threat match, but I think we could be looking at a ladder match here. I really do. So hopefully I'm right on that. So we'll see what happens. Now we come into what a match we got here. This was the no disqualification match. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens with absolutely nothing to lose, where it was all on the line for Sami Zayn. For Sami Zayn, win, and you're in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. You lose, you're done. You're gone. Winner of the match in ranging from 11 minutes and 10 seconds to 11 minutes and 55 seconds. And going to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wins the bout. I believe Michael Bullock starts this off here. So, Bullock, can you say fight of the night on this one?
Oh yeah, this was the fight of the night as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars as my rating on the match. I mean, a very good match to say the very least. I didn't like the ending with basically a roll up to get the victory, but man, the action was solid. I mean, we knew it was going to be a good match when we knew it was going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but you throw a no disqualification match into it with everything that's on the line. Man, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Of course, we did get some interference from Samoa Joe, who looked like he was going to try to strike Sami Zayn. Jericho's music hit, and Jericho came up and hit Samoa Joe from behind with a steel chair and trying to get at Kevin Owens. And that's what led to the roll up. And then Kevin Owens tried beating up Zayn after the match, but Chris Jericho saved the day. And basically, is like, Kevin Owens, you know what happens when you stab a man you used to call your best friend, Chris Jericho? You know what happens? Kevin Owens, you just made the list. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. 3.5 stars, fight of the night. Florio, it's yours.
Absolutely spot on, Michael Bullock. You nailed that one right on the head. 3.5 stars, no doubt about it. Fight of the night. Very good match, as you would expect from these two. The finish, yeah, it was predictable, which in this case is not bad, but it also worked and got a good reaction. The fans didn't seem to buy into the idea of Zayn losing his job, or maybe they just hoped he would lose and he would end up on SmackDown Live. But nonetheless, though, Zayn and Owens, they did it again. I mean, MF knows the history of these two way better than Bullock and I combined. You know, dating back to their days in ROH when they were Kevin Steen and El Generico and their ladder war, respectively, and so much other good stuff they had down there, respectively. But they did it again, no doubt about it. So Zayn is in the Battle Royal. That's 13 participants now, 10 from Raw, only 3 from SmackDown Live. Hopefully they'll get some more bodies in on that tomorrow night. I want to see an even number of Raw and SmackDown Live guys in that. I don't want to see Raw dominating SmackDown Live when it comes to, you know, the count of participants in this thing. It's a 10-3 ratio right now, but hopefully tomorrow night we'll see some more SmackDown Live guys step up and enter the Andre Battle Royals. So that's all I can say on that. But Owens and Jericho, of course, U.S. Heavyweight title at Mania. We got some nice hype from that. Bullock mentioned, Jericho did the routine. You know how much we love that. I only wish he would have thrown in a stupid idiot and or a mutton head. I would have been happy about that. So, but we got that last week.
That stupid idiot mutton head.
Yeah, you know how much I love that, Bullock. You know how much I love that. So there you go. 3.5 stars, fight of the night, no doubt about it. MF, you know the history of these two better than any of us. Did they deliver yet again? I'm sure they did in your eyes.
Yeah, they delivered. I'll give you the 3.25, 3.5 star rating. I think it was definitely a great match. Solid for what it was worth. And everybody did their part really well. It was a little bit of an overbooked mess because you did have Samoa Joe and you had Chris Jericho getting involved in the match, and we kind of had an idea, or we sensed that was going to happen. So, but as far as anything else goes, I thought it was great. So no, you guys hit the nail on the head on everything. So let's just move on.
Yes, indeed. And now we go to the other big segment. This was the main event segment for this go home edition of Monday Night Raw. And it was the number one contender for the Universal Championship, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, along with his advocate, Paul Heyman, a man who knows Philadelphia oh too well, since he was the one who put ECW on the map in South Philadelphia at the old ECW arena. And yes, they broke out the ECW chants, no doubt about it. And then we also had the Universal Champion himself, Bill Goldberg. And, well, Paul Heyman did his usual shtick. He sold his advocate, he sold his client like he always does. The Philly fans chanted Goldberg, Goldberg, the whole routine. And, he says, hey, Goldberg's going to walk down the aisle as the Universal Champion. He said the title is everything around here. He called it the Holy Grail of WWE. Debatable. Sorry, I had to let that out. He said it means you're the one centerpiece of the flagship show of WWE. Heyman said Lesnar wants, needs, and lusts after the title. Goldberg, you have that title. He said Sting tried to pull off what Goldberg accomplished, where Sting fell short. Goldberg, you rose to the occasion with dominance and destruction. And then he said Goldberg has his respect and admirations and is a real-life superhero, and that Goldberg is truly the man. But my client, Brock Lesnar, is the beast. And he said Lesnar will chew Goldberg up and spit him out at Mania. He said really bad things happen to legit superheroes when they get in the ring with Lesnar. And he assumed the fans need a reason to buy the WWE Network, a pay-per-view, or a seat. He said it would have to be on the secondary market because WrestleMania is sold out. Thank you, Brock, for the house. And he said Goldberg's going to Suplex City where they check in, but they don't check out. And he said that it'll be the last time fans will chant Goldberg on Raw. He said they should rename WrestleMania the Death of a Superhero. And then he spoke in Latin, and then he said, my client, Brock Lesnar, does not fear the spear. Goldberg can't survive the F5. And then enter the Universal Champion Goldberg. He's like, you know what? They didn't come to see us. They didn't come to listen to us talk. They came to see us fight. And there we go. And then as Lesnar was ready to approach Goldberg, Goldberg spears him in the aisleway. Okay. The Go Home Show had its share of quality moments, and this final segment was certainly among them. The fears that the Philly fans would turn on Goldberg turned out to be unfounded. Heyman delivers a strong final promo that puts some of the focus on the Universal Championship, and the big spear at the end was a really nice call. Most people assume Brock Lesnar, well, all of us assume Brock Lesnar is going to win. So why not plant the seed with casual viewers that Bill Goldberg really does have Brock Lesnar's number? Survivor Series and Royal Rumble included. Goldberg stands tall one last time to plant some doubt in the outcome, and Heyman was great at selling the match like he always does. One of few people in WWE who never has a bad day at the office. If I had to guess, Sunday's match goes something like this. Goldberg hits the spear and jackhammer, but Lesnar will ultimately kick out this time. He then takes Goldberg to Suplex City, hits the F5, and finally overcomes Bill Goldberg and wins the Universal Championship. So that's really all I can say on that. So really all that being said, another one of the segments of the night, you really can't rank it because just about every in-ring segment on this show tonight was really good and well done. So very good final hype for that Universal Championship match, even though MF is the only one among us who honestly doesn't, who honestly has no excitement for this bout whatsoever. But MF, I know you're not excited about the match, and I can understand why, but at least this final hype I thought was really good. I don't know about you.
I mean, the final hype for WrestleMania was expected. They played their roles really well. Heyman is a god on the mic, man. What is there to say? He got me. He actually made me believe in this match. That's how good Heyman was tonight. He made me believe that these guys are going to tear the house down on Sunday night at WrestleMania, even though I believe Balderdash and some other things, and even for a PG-rated show, I could go off and say some not so flattering words, but I won't. I think it was nice hype. They did a good job of selling me the match, and this was a nice final build for WrestleMania. I'll give you that. But you're not getting anything more than that from me. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, kind of what we figured that Fletch was. We knew he wasn't going to say anything about what we can expect from the match. So, yeah, I mean, this was a good final hype video. I mean, final hype for this match. I mean, Paul Heyman. I mean, like you just said, Fletch. He's a god on the mic. I mean, you just give him a microphone, you know you're going to get a good segment, no doubt about it. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I could say. I mean, you pretty much touched on everything. So, Florio, let's move on.
Well, I believe. Oh yeah, that's right. I already gave my thoughts. That's right. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you already let off on the.
yes, I did. So all right. So now it's time for our overall review of this go home edition of Monday Night Raw for WrestleMania. So MF, I gotta ask, did this go home show deliver, or did it leave you with a bad taste in your mouth? How did this turn out to you?
I'm gonna say it like this: it left a bad taste in the mouth. Um, we've had a lot of go home shows leading into WrestleMania, and I was so pumped for it. I was so amazed for it. I was this, I was that. This year, go home show WrestleMania, I feel underwhelmed. I feel like WWE has no hope or no direction going to Mania. And that's a damn shame. Your flagship show, your number one show, and I feel like it didn't deliver in a way that I thought. It felt flat in certain areas. It is very newsworthy, but the execution was poorly handled. I think what WWE did with Monday Night Raw hit the ball to SmackDown Live. And like, guys, save us. And now you put a lot of pressure on SmackDown Live to deliver tomorrow night with their final build to WrestleMania. For me, this is maybe a 4 to 5 out of 10. And I'm being really generous with that rating. Because I know a lot of people in the IWC actually leveled this, calling it the worst go-home show to WrestleMania ever. So I'm giving it an F rating, a 2 to 3, possibly. So, I mean, they're calling it one of the worst Raws of the year, and that you should not even waste your time with WrestleMania on Sunday night because of Raw. Now, I'm not going to be that harsh, where a lot of IWC fans are, because they are slamming this guy's like Pearl Harbor job. I'm going to give it a glimmer of hope. Like I said, I think WrestleMania lost its momentum when they pulled Aries and Neville off the main card and put it on the pre-show. However, like I said, the biggest saving grace would be if Neville and Aries is on that 6 o'clock hour on USA on Sunday night. A championship fight on free TV would be immensely awesome to have on their hands. Because if that happens, that might save WrestleMania. Right now, as far as the overall look goes, it's not looking good. You got the women's title fight, the Fatal 4-Way elimination. That is right now looking like that could be an excellent match. But Goldberg and Lesnar, I'm not looking forward to that. Even though I know Mike Bullock has a lot of vested interest in Taker and Roman, based off the reports that I'm hearing about Taker, forward to that fight. Seth Rollins and Triple H, non-sanctioned, I'm expecting that to be an overbook. And it's not going to be in the way, and if fully healthy, this would have been a show stealer. I'm not expecting it to be at all. I think it's going to be more of a glorified segment than an actual fight. And then don't even get me started with Goldberg and Lesnar. And if for some reason the triple threat tag team title fight for the Raw tag team titles turns into a ladder match, that would be even better for them. But I'm not even remotely nervous about that match at all. So you see what my dilemma is. You see where the line in the sand is for WrestleMania. What is supposed to be the ultimate thrill ride almost reminds me that this could be. I don't want to be as rough or as, and I don't want to be as horrible as it is, but it sounds like it could be like a day at an amusement park. Overbooked prices for very limited quality stuff to get. Yeah, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, you're going to have your great rides. But there's stuff in this WrestleMania that's going to feel like a waste of money. I hope I am wrong. I hope that I am brutally wrong about WrestleMania. Because the last few years, we've always had bad go-home shows, and then the shows actually delivered in hindsight. 30 was the greatest ever. 31 was pretty good. 32, half and half. Expectations are really low for this year's WrestleMania. A lot of people are very nervous for this WrestleMania. Like I said, you put a lot of pressure on Team Blue in SmackDown Live to get to at least get the excitement level back up, because let me tell you, it doesn't look good, at least on my side, at least from my perspective. So 4 out of 10 is my rating. Michael Blake, I give it to you.
WWE. This is the third straight year your final Raw before WrestleMania, and you give us another crap fest of a go home show before WrestleMania. No, this it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And Florio, remember when I told you that I had a bad feeling that this was going to be another go home to WrestleMania edition of Raw? Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
Well, I told you that there was a possibility that it was going to happen, and lo and behold, I was correct. I mean, and this was like the one time I did not want to be correct, but unfortunately I am. And I mean, this is WrestleMania. I mean, you're supposed to be giving us a good show. You're supposed to be getting us all hyped. And some of the stuff you provided us tonight was flat. Absolutely flat. And yeah, I mean, some people actually are not going to want to watch WrestleMania, but because it's WrestleMania, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, I'm still going to watch it. I'm not going to be like those people in the IWC who are saying that they're not even going to waste their time with it. I'm not going to do that. But this is your chance. I mean, SmackDown Live really has to really pick up the pieces tomorrow night, because expectations are low, and I really hope WWE can deliver on Sunday. But for tonight, 3 out of 10 is what I'm giving this for this show. Shame on you, WWE. Shame on you for giving us another bad go home to WrestleMania editions of Monday Night Raw. floor, it's yours. I'm done. I'm finished with this nonsense.
With all due respect, gentlemen, I know you guys didn't like the show. I understand in the whole 9 yards. And it's your opinion, and I value them. You know I do. But I'm going to be real honest here. I'm going to be the man who tells it like it is. I know Fletch is going to say what I'm about to say is going to make Fletch say, well, now you know why I say allegedly tells it like it is. Oh, no, I'm telling it like it is here tonight.
And you're probably going to hear me saying, what?
Now, I'm not going to give this show I'm not giving this show a perfect 10 by any means. No, it's not even worthy of a perfect 10.
Thank goodness, because if you were going to,
I'm not doing that.
because if you were, I'm now that's really going to push my buttons, and I'm going to go off big time.
Understandable. But I do disagree with you guys. I'm rating this show a little bit higher than you guys are. It's still going to be under the 7 threshold. I'm actually going to give this a 6.5. I felt that this was a 6.5 show tonight. First hour was solid. The second hour, not so much. But I thought that third hour was really good. Overall, tonight's effort was an average go-home show with some good segments that are worth your time, but far from the home run that I had hoped for heading into the big show. I'll give you guys that. They gave attention to each of the Raw brand's WrestleMania matches. They gave more time than necessary to some, and that bogged down the middle of the show. But I do appreciate the effort of delivering final hype to everything. I came away from Raw actually feeling a little more excited about WrestleMania than I was going in. But I can't say that my level of enthusiasm shot up dramatically and sky high as a result of the go-home show. So, what do you need to see from this stuff? What do I recommend for this show tonight? Everything, the 2-for-1 deal with the women, the verbal exchange, and the tag team match. Of course, the segment with Triple H and Seth Rollins, the segment with Roman Reigns and The Undertaker, the no disqualification match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and lastly, rounding out the recommendation list, the main event segment with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, mainly because of the mic work of Paul Heyman. So, MF said this was a 4 to 5 out of 10. Bullet gave it a 3 out of 10. I think that's a little bit too harsh, guys, if I'm being honest. So, but this is a 6.5 out of 10 for me, and it's a solid 6.5. I'm not going to say 6.5 to 7. No, this was 6.5. So, and I know you're saying, oh, you're just being biased because you're a Raw guy. You could say that. I'll be honest. You could say that. You can make an argument for that. But I still felt this was a good show. So my mind cannot be changed. So 6.5 to 6.5 out of 10 for me. So with all that being said, gentlemen, rest easy now because it's time now for my Tony's Take here. Of course, we're going to get into 205 Live. And, of course, we're also going to get into to Impact Wrestling as well. So with all that being said, let's start off with 205 Live. And we do have a match to announce for tomorrow night on 205 Live, and I'll get more into that in just a minute. But here we go. We started it off with just wait for my notes to load up here. I believe we started off with a match, or was it a talking segment? No, it was a match. TJ Perkins going up against the premier athlete, Tony Nese. Tony Nese wins the match, 10 minutes and 36 seconds. 2 3/4 stars here. Pretty good outing overall, despite the dead crowd. They worked hard, but felt as if they never really got out of second gear, even though it was a fine match, and it was the second best match on the show. Then we had Akira Tozawa going up against another Hammenegger jabroni. I guess his name was Alex Reynolds. He won the match in 3 seconds. No rating to a dud. Squash. Enough said. Austin Aries with an in-ring segment interrupted by Neville. Very good segment there, no doubt about it. And then it led into the match, the main event, which was Neville in a non-title match against Mustafa Ali. Adrian Neville wins the match in 15 minutes and 20 seconds via submission. Fight of the night here, solid 3 stars. Overall, good outing. It was a bit long in the tooth for what they were trying to accomplish. It could have easily been done in a shorter time frame and with less of a drag factor. I did like that they made Neville a completely ruthless, a gentleman who with a completely ruthless aggression to set the stage for his WrestleMania bout with Aries. So that's it. 6 out of 10 for this show here. It feels as if they want to heat Nice back up, which they need to do in order to have someone ready to challenge for the title post-Mania. With Nice winning and Swan and Dar facing off next week, matching them up post-Mania in the number 1 contenders match can work. They continue to Zawa and Kendrick, which is good continuity, but it does little for me. The main event was a good overall presentation. Neville gives no craps, and they did solid work to add to the build to his match with Aries. Mustafa Ali has been getting over with the crowds, and I feel he can be a viable babyface as we head into the summer. Solid stuff this week, just nothing must see. So I would recommend Neville and Ali, and I'll even give you TJP and Tony Nese, but skip the Akira Tozawa stuff because that was nonsense. So that's really all I can say on that. So solid 6 out of 10 for this edition of 205 Live. Looks like we're going to get a match with Rich Swann against Noam Dar. That wasn't the match I was talking about. So I guess we have 2 matches to look forward to on this show tomorrow night. The other that was announced tonight, we're going to finally get the match we've been wanting. Akira Tozawa v. Brian Kendrick. That should be one heck of a match. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes down. So that's it for that. And now we go into Impact Wrestling. And let's see what Impact Wrestling has in store for us. And they actually started off with a match. The Lone Wolf, Davey Richards. Gimmick infringement, by the way. We already have a Lone Wolf. His name is Baron Corbin, in case you don't know. The Lone Wolf, Davey Richards, went up against Suicide. And I got to tell you, Michael Fletcher, MF, nobody sings the Suicide theme song any better than MF does. I remember back in the day when we used to watch TNA, and anytime that Suicide song came on, oh boy, Fletcher could absolutely nail it. In case you don't get the hint, MF, that's a future karaoke request right there. I want to hear you do that. I mean, everybody would love to hear you belt that sucker out because you nail that sucker, let me tell you. But nonetheless, Davey Richards and Suicide went at it. Davey Richards wins the match 6 minutes and 16 seconds. And where did I rank this? Well, based on the ratings I have for the other bouts, this was by default the fight of the night. 2 3/4 stars. Very good opening match. It was fun, had a good flow throughout without feeling rushed. One criticism is that Suicide got in a little bit too much against Richards, who was working to reestablish himself as a singles with a new persona. You shouldn't be going 50-50 with low-card guys in that situation. But that's all there is to say on that. Tag team action, Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. Actually, I stand corrected. This was a 6-man tag team match. International flavor. The Laredo Kid, Garza Jr., and Mahabali Shira went up against Idris Abraham, Fala Ba, and Mario Bocara. The Laredo Kid, Garza Jr., and Shira win the match in 5 minutes and 21 seconds. 2.5 stars. I like this. It wasn't great, but they made good use of the time, and I felt that everyone played their roles well. Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. continue their momentum from last week. If MF knows anything about these guys, I'm sure he does, because I know he follows the independent scene very vividly. Shira looked good, but will get absolutely no credit from some, and so did the new guys. It was pretty much what it should have been for its position on the card, energetic and fun. Reno Scum, they went up against Decay. Reno Scum wins the match 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Another solid 2.5 stars. Rock solid tag match here, with the goal being to keep up the momentum of Reno Scum by giving them a win over an established team and former tag team champions of the world. Decay ended up costing themselves the match as their own shenanigans backfired on them, and Reno Scum took full advantage of their mistake. And then Conan, he came out and cut a promo saying that LAX is back and coming for the tag team titles. They're here to take it to the streets. That was great stuff there. No doubt about it. We had the DCC, James Storm and Bram against LAX, Angel Ortiz and Santana, Mike Drastic, and LAX wins the match in 11 minutes and 10 seconds. 2.5 star, another solid 2.5 star fight. Good follow-up victory over after LAX's debut. Storm was clearly positioned as the babyface here, which played well as this appeared to be the end, thankfully, of the DCC, who let's face it, was a failure. Solid match here. LAX gets the needed win, and Storm will be much better off on his own going forward. No doubt about it. And they made an announcement that Moose and Cody will go at it next week for the Impact Grand Championship. Knockouts action, ODB. ODB is back, along with Rebel. You remember Rebel. She was part of the Menagerie way back when, and also part of the Dollhouse. ODB wins the match in 4 minutes. I'm sorry, this was an absolute dud. This was the worst fight of the night. This was not good. It was easily the worst thing on an otherwise strong and focused show. Not the direction I wanted the knockouts going in. Horribly stupid nonsense with the old man forcing himself on a woman and taking away their attempt on a match. The Earl Hebner dirty old man knockout to ref gimmick has never been good or entertaining. Did nothing to advance the bout. Did nothing to help the match. And actually takes away from it with an old man forcing himself on a younger woman for laughs. It sucked and it was nonsense. So, and then Lashley squashed some ham and egger named Jake Holmes in 1 minute and 58 seconds. No rain to a dud. Lashley destroying goofs will always be entertaining. And then we had this final segment. We were talking about She is here. Who's this She? It's Karen Jarrett. Karen Jarrett is back. You remember Karen Jarrett? She's now, of course, she's currently the wife of the legendary Jeff Jarrett, as you know, Jeff Jarrett's wife. Of course, at one time was also married to Kurt Angle, the new Hall of Famer. And, she came out talked about how she was going to make things great again on the show. Ethan Carter III came out. And then this is where it all went downhill. Jeremy Borash gets involved. Josh Matthews gets involved. Okay. Karen Jarrett got a surprisingly great reaction here and was treated like a big star. So at least it came off well following the build to the reveal. Karen was fine, but EC3 was the star of the segment with his faux enthusiasm and hard tease at the heel turn with the "I'm not doing it for your last name. I'll be doing this for mine." The heel turn is really needed, especially all of his recent failings. Josh Matthews tries here, and at times it hits the right notes, but I find it very difficult to care about a feud between him and Borash. And also, I do not see the need for another talking head / authority figure on the show. So overall thoughts on this, 6.5 out of 10. While I liked last week's show a little more, I felt that this was a largely strong follow-up to that show. They worked to establish and give the newer tag teams momentum heading into next week's tag team title bout. Nothing great wrestling-wise, but everything was solid to pretty good and was done with a purpose. Show also had a nice flow to it and felt easy to watch. While the reboot show did absolutely nothing for me at all, they have rebounded with back-to-back strong weeks of programming, which is all I can honestly ask for. So, solid 6.5 out of 10 for this latest edition of Impact Wrestling on Pop Television. So the big question is, what can we expect, of course, going into this week's show? Well, I already gave you one bit of news about it. We're going to see Moose and Cody Rhodes. They're going to battle it out for the Grand Championship. EC3 is going to come. He's going to cut a promo. Andrew Everett will square off against DJZ in the next bout. We're going to get another Karen Jarrett segment. Something will happen with the knockouts there. Eli Drake will go up against Caleb Connolly. Rosemary will face Santana Garrett. You remember Santana Garrett? Oh boy, is she a beauty! Let me tell you. She used to be known as Brittany in TNA. Well, she's known as Santana Garrett. And then there's gonna be an interview with Jeremy Borash, and something big will happen with the knockouts during that segment. I'm not going to give it away here. Kevin Matthews against Braxton Sutter. LAX. It's going to be going up against and then this is the tag team title match, that big vacant tag team title match. LAX, Decay, Reno Scum, Garza Jr., Laredo Kid. From what I'm hearing, this fight was awesome. Let's see. I hope it comes out on TV like that. In-ring segment with Bruce Pritchard, and then of course that Impact Grand Championship match with Moose and Cody. So there you go. That's what we can expect on this edition of Impact Wrestling coming up Thursday night, 8:00, Pop Television. Check it out. I think it's going to be a good show. So I definitely like what I see on my sheet here. So that's it. That's it for the first of our 3 huge broadcasts this week as part of our WrestleMania week. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning into this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We're going to wrap it up with our shout out. So gentlemen, open forum it. Whoever wants to first take it, just save me for last, and I'll run down the remaining future content. So MF or Bullock, whoever wants it, it's all yours, guys.
I guess I'll lead off because of the fact that the next show that we're going to do is the big one on my side. So first off, thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as amazing as it has always been. You guys are the best fans in the world. You guys already know that. Junior high and high school days, much love to you guys. To the 2184 crew, love you guys. Friends from my junior high and high school days, definitely much props to you as well. And yeah, it's you have a loaded lineup. It is SmackDown Live, their go home show to WrestleMania. Plus, I will also set the table for the Super Card of Honor on April Fool's Day, the night before WrestleMania. They have a big Ring of Honor show from Lakeland, Florida, and it's capped off by the mega fight, the rematch that the world's been waiting for, the Broken Hardys versus the Young Bucks for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. And then, of course, the new Ring of Honor and the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. He puts the title on the line as well. It's going to be an unbelievable show. And then, of course, SmackDown Live. What are we going to get, especially from the WWE Championship, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton? Are we finally going to find out a little more details about the win? And then we also, if you guys know, last week we crowned new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. What's going to happen as we head into WrestleMania with that? So much more. 10 p.m. Eastern, BravesFan95 on YouTube.com. We'll see you then. Until then, I'm Mike Fletcher, Husband Hand Pounds. I'm out. Good night. Mike Bullock, it's all yours.
All right. Of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or the Cerebral Smack Talk or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. And of course, shout outs to of course, to the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. And of course, our other super fans, Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh. And of course, all of our friends from our high school days. You guys know who you are. So, and of course to Derek Ferrera as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. So until tomorrow night for an all new edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Orchard 4 style. Bye for now. And so Florio, take us home.
Will do, Bullock. Of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are, especially last week that Cerebral Smack Talk where I had to fill in for MF, the most watched edition of Cerebral Smack Talk since the show started, to the tune of 121 views and counting, guys. Unreal. But this is Mike Bullock nonetheless, we want to give an extra special shout out, of course, to someone who couldn't be with us tonight, our fourth panelist, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. Unfortunately, not with us tonight. Hopefully, she'll be back with us tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk, but we'll see. Of course, our other insiders and colleagues out there, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. The crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons. And last but certainly not least, the man who puts it all together, the man with the plan, if you will, the hardcore pipe bomb himself, Derek Ferreira, our Imperial Grand Poobah indeed. And that's it for our shout-outs. And, of course, tomorrow night, 10 p.m., Braves Fan 95. We're back on Braves 95. MF is back at the controls. Cerebral Smack Talk, the go-home show for SmackDown Live. Richmond, Virginia, the location, the Richmond Coliseum. Well, there's two things you need to know about this show tomorrow night. We're going to have a contract signing, boys. The phenomenal AJ Styles, SmackDown Live commissioner Shane McMahon, they're gonna have a contract signing. And Bullock, what do we always say about contract signings?
It does not end well.
Oh no. It does not end well. And I know we're going to have a lot of fun with that tomorrow night. Believe that. So contract signing, AJ Styles, Shane McMahon. And also on the show tomorrow night that we know, we can confirm, WWE Champion Bray Wyatt will be in action. He's going to go up against his former Wyatt family brethren, Luke Harper. That should be what a matchup that's going to be. That and a whole lot more. MF mentioned about the Usos, maybe in American Alpha. Maybe we'll see something with that. Expect more fireworks with the mixed tag with the Miz and Maurice and Nikki Bella and John Cena, and hopefully we'll get some more SmackDown Live guys in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Like I said, it's a 10-3 ratio, little too steep for me. So that's tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And then at 10 p.m. on Thursday night, come right back here to the Tone 25. We're gonna do it all. No Strictly Sports. It's all about NXT TakeOver Orlando and the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania 33. Because we're taking Friday and Saturday off. We don't care. We're watching the Hall of Fame on Friday night. We're watching TakeOver Orlando on Saturday. And then on Sunday night, come back over to MF's channel, Braves Fan 95, where we will recap the show of shows, WrestleMania 33. Complete recap. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's the ridiculously over gentleman Anthony Florio here for Good MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit the Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson and the Hardcore Python Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until later tonight for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on Braves Fan 95, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.